And welcome to A New Direction. My name is Jay Izzo, and oh man, do we have a great show for you today. Here's the deal. When it comes to your career, let me ask you a question. Are you truly fulfilled in your career? Do you feel like your career is the perfect career? Do you feel like you're enjoying what you're doing? Or are you one of these people who wake up, no. Before you go to bed on Sunday, you're already dreading Monday? I know who you are. I mean, some of you are my friends, and you tell me that you dread Mondays. Right. And listen, I'm a coach. I do some of this work like my guest, Rich Salon, does too. And I do some of this career work and help people find purpose in their life and in their career. We get stuck. Sometimes we feel we can't get out. We feel like we got to have the paycheck. We got to support the family. And we get stuck in a job where we're completely dreading it. And we hate it. And we don't feel like there's any way out. And you often go, is there any hope for me? Well, I'm going to tell you, as my guest says, yes. There is hope for you. And it may not be what you're thinking as the way out. It may not be a career job that you're currently in. It may be starting something on your own, flying solo. Maybe it's taking a whole different direction. Maybe it's finding something within the job that you have that you haven't even explored yet. This is the beauty of what I'm going to talk about today. The book today is entitled Career Trust. My guest is going to be Rich Salon. We're going to talk to him in just a second. Before we get to him, though, let's do what we do every week, right? We're four-part people: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual people. And the fact of the matter is, if we're not working on those areas every day, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, we are dying because we never stay stagnant. And what we try to do on the show is we have you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being in this area, 10 being, it can't get any better, 5 being average. So, for example, physically, right, we take a look at you and say, okay, if you were to evaluate yourself on that scale of 1 to 10 physically in terms of getting enough exercise, eating right, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, what number would you give yourself? And here's the thing. If your number's low, I don't want you to be alarmed by that. What I want you to think of it as a starting place where you can grow from. So if you're a 3, let's just get to a 3.5. What can we do right now to change that to get 3.5? Maybe take a walk. Maybe an extra walk. Maybe get rid of the chips in the cupboard. Maybe that's a good start. Maybe add another glass of water in your day. Reduce the soda. Right? That's what we're asking you to do. All right. So that's your first number in your head. Second number is the intellectual mental number. And the fact of the matter is we got to keep growing in our knowledge. The one thing that we can do our lifetime is that we can grow our mind. Right? We physically may be getting older and it's getting harder and harder to do the things that we used to do, but our mind can always stay sharp. In fact, William Buffett is said, again, who's it? William Buffett? Is it William Buffett? Is that right, Rich? Is it
Warren Buffett?
Warren Buffett. Thank you. Warren Buffett is said to read 500 pages a day. Spends 80% of his day reading. That's mental intellectual growth because he's always learning. And on a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to being actively learning and growing in your life, in your career, in your business, how would you say you're doing on that scale? Right? Okay, so that's your second number. The third number is the emotional number. And here's the thing about emotions, and Rich kind of alludes to this throughout the course of the book. You're going to have some emotional intelligence here. Dr. Goleman has written tons and tons of work on emotional intelligence and emotional quotient. Sometimes we call these soft skills, but the fact of the matter is there's 2 parts to it. One is how well are you able to control your emotions under stress and pressure, which is important, by the way, for your career. And then the second part is how well are you able to tap into and understand the emotions of others, which is also important to being successful in your career as well. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say you're doing? All right, that's your third number. And then finally, the fourth number is the spiritual number. And the fact of the matter is we are all spiritual beings. We all live by faith. You woke up this morning, you drank your coffee, it wasn't poisonous. At least you believed it wasn't. You turned on your car, pushed the button in your car, believing it was going to work. You've made plans for the future, believing that they're going to happen. That's faith. But we also connect to each other beyond the physical, beyond the mental, beyond the emotional. We connect to each other spiritually. There's a spiritual connection that exists between us. And we all are searching for a higher power, something that is beyond us that we want to rely on in the midst of our chaos that can bring us joy. Whether that be God or nature or meditation or something else, the question becomes, is that working for you? And then what might you do to change it? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing spiritually? These 4 areas are like the area in the tires of your car. If one of the air in the tires of your car is low, what happens? Right? Well, it's harder to steer the car. It's harder to manage the vehicle. It's harder to keep the car rolling. But, right, what happens if all 4 tires are low? Well, then you're going to ruin the car. And so what we want to do is get the air filled right height to our tires. Speaking of somebody who does that, his name is Rich Salon. He's also known as Rich, the HR guy. He is also a career transition coach. His purpose is helping people find career fulfillment. He coaches individuals at multiple levels to help them grow their career. He has done this for individuals and organizations, including the Home Depot, Circuit City, Penske, and Lowe's. He has helped people with their careers since 2009 after being selected to help being 34,000 team members at Circuit City kickstart their search. He helps leading companies improve their employee experience for their staff members at all levels, leading to their fulfillment. Rich also helps match people to business ownership opportunities through his own company called Business Owner Connection, LLC. He's been a Rotarian since 2015 which has inspired him to pursue his long-term goal of becoming a wish granter for adults with terminal illnesses in memory of his mother, Eileen Salon. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, and welcome for the first time to A New Direction, Rich Salon. Rich, welcome to A New Direction.
Thank you, Jay. And listen, congratulations on the continued success of your show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, I enjoyed this little book, Career Trust, and it's a great quick read. The secondary title is 52 Doses of Reality to Help You Find Career Fulfillment. I want people to understand, as a listener and a viewer, by the way, thank you everybody watching us DB TV or listening to us on radio, cross country, and podcasting, 52 doses of reality to help you find a career fulfillment. I think what was so good about that is I love that you chose 52 because people can chew on each one of these every week. And you also wrote this in a way that each one of these dosages can stand on its own. You don't have to read them in order. You point that out in the book. In fact, you say it's not that important. You could just find one and chew on it for a while and a week. And so I really enjoyed that about this book. What I want to start with, though, is a question that you ask right out of the preface, and that is, you ask, what would you feel like if you were completely fulfilled every day? And I love the question because I hear it as a coach. I hear it regularly, and I'm sure you do too. So help us understand why did you start with that question? What was it that inspired you to start there?
Yeah, I find in my career, I've been in human resources for about 25 years and career coaching for about 15. Too many people focus on moving stuff from the inbox to the outbox. Some people, they don't focus on work that they find fulfilling. Too many people focus on surviving versus succeeding. And the people that I talk about and I talk to and observe who really enjoy what they're doing, they're getting the fulfillment. They're happier. I see them more productive, ability to grow their career, ability to make a bigger difference. The more successful, the more fulfilled somebody is, will often lead to a higher level of success, which means they can make more of an impact. That impact is on a department, on a customer, the public, the world, whatever it is. Fulfillment is unbelievable. And to me, you can't compromise career fulfillment. Follow your fascinations. You know, what excites you? What gets you up every day? You referred to it early. You know, are you dreading Mondays? How about treating every Monday like it was a hot date? So Mondays are critical. They can be great, they can be productive, or they can be a bit of a downer. But again, I think choosing success, pursuing success versus just surviving at work is important to people.
I agree with you. I think one of the things I find stunning to me, it just stuns me, is the amount of fear that people have when it comes to changing a career that they're miserable in. That they're actually so stuck because they feel like they have a paycheck and yet they stay in misery. I mean, how often do you hear that? Because I hear that a lot.
I do hear a lot. What I continue to hear why is there's a fear that they might be less successful, less happy, less fulfilled by trying something different. Um, it's unfortunate human nature, I believe, but it's the fear of it's the fear of the unknown.
Mhm. Yeah, I think somehow what we've done, and I don't know that it's been intentionally, but I'd love to hear your perspective on this. I almost feel like from a corporate working standpoint, since the 20th century, is that we've got people believing still on some level that that they are owned by the company and they don't have the freedom to actually move. And I feel like we're in a prevention mindset of I'm more afraid of loss than I'm afraid of the opportunity to gain.
I would agree with you, and one of my suggestions to people is never ever put your professional development in the hands of your boss. You
Mm,
own it. You own your development.
mm,
You're going to own your fulfillment.
mm,
Take ownership of your career.
mm,
Um, don't let somebody own you. To
mm.
your point.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I walked this line. I worked in a university setting for years, thinking, and I hated it because I hated the structure and the bureaucracy and the politics. And I tell people there is no more political bureaucratic company than a university. There just isn't, you know, and because it's the way it's structured and put together, that there's this chain of command and it's hierarchy, and if you don't follow exactly what they do, well, you're at their mercy. And I think it's important, and that there's an alignment here. Don't you believe where people should be aligned with who they are and where they work?
Agree. And it starts with the company's culture. I worked for an organization one time and they were built on an empowerment model. And the mantra was go, 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 do as much as you can, do as fast as you can. We'll pull you back only when necessary, but we want you to go, go, go.
Mm,
That culture, probably the best working culture I ever worked in. People were the happiest, people grew, people were willing to give extra effort like it's nobody's business. So the company designs the culture and then makes it happen. It's going to continue to obtain and retain the best possible talent, in my opinion.
mm. Well, let's start digging into these 52 doses of reality, shall we? Let's.
Absolutely.
And now I've numbered them. I know you didn't, but I have. Okay, so forgive me for calling them a number, but I did it so that I could, as I was taking notes on the book, I'd go, okay, where am I at here? Is this 1 or 7? What did I do here? So I did number them. And so in the first one that you have listed, it's called Stop Accepting the Unacceptable. And you say many people continue to accept the unacceptable when it comes to their career. The unacceptable is about settling for something less than you need to. So talk to us about stop accepting the unacceptable. What do we need to do here?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jay. In fact, the only two chapters that were positioned on purpose, the entire book, is the first and the last. The last being family,
Right.
which I hold very, very close. That's the very last chapter. Never forget family and be present for family events. But I purposefully started with stop accepting the unacceptable, because again, I find people just they accept a job, they're working in a job, they kind of wander aimlessly, reflecting on what they did at the end of the day, what they did at the end of the week. they have to scratch their head and say, I don't know. They weren't following their fascinations. They were not able to use their skills, their knowledge that they obtained. They're just doing stuff. They're moving stuff, and it's almost just by habit. Each person should understand the work they do, how it fits into the organization's overall objectives. Okay, that's important. That's one of the leading indicators of employee engagement, now known as the employee experience. But but not focusing on making a big difference, just focusing on the day to day, the same stuff. And I don't want to fault people. Sometimes we just follow the path of least resistance, something that we can do blindfolded, and whether it's become a habit or it might be a blind spot. Everybody's going to be different, but following your fascinations, and if something is not to your standards, okay, it's not acceptable. It might be acceptable to somebody else, but you don't think this is, you don't think it's acceptable, blow it out of the water. Okay. Take it to the next level. It's your career.
I love that. I want to move to number 2. It's called career identification derailer negativity. And I find this to be so true that and you give this little example. You said the first exercise people often do is to create an extensive list of occupations they tell themselves that they cannot do. And you say it's like drafting a list of 50 potential roles they will not consider. So get us out of this career identification, this negativity. Get us out of this and help us find a better way.
Absolutely. So again, my example is somebody is in a career search, whether they want a career upgrade within their employer, whether they're out of work. The first thing they do is they zone in on their limitations. They come up with a list of about 20 things that they tell themselves they cannot do. And then they come up with a list of what they can do. And that list is usually 2 or 3. But the order of determining what somebody can pursue, it just too often seems to focus on what they cannot do.
Right.
What they should be doing is focus what they can do. Again, what are their fascinations? What are their talents? What do people tell them they do repeatedly well? Okay. It's not always on the tip of our tongue. What are our passions? What do we love doing so much that it would be almost a crime to pay us for? And then what is important to us? Could be autonomy, could be heavy direction, and finding those things, realizing those things, following your passions, your talents, and pursuing what's important to you. But again, it might be human nature again, to just default to negativity, what I can't do, what I tell myself I cannot do. It takes deliberate effort, I believe, to focus on what I can do. You mentioned I worked at the Home Depot, and in 1999, my second day on the job, I had a chance to meet a man named Bernie Marcus. I wasn't on Bernie's calendar. 1979, Bernie Marcus found in the Home Depot. He was fired from a job in 1978, trying to figure out what he wants to do. He had the idea of a big box home center. And he says, is our great country ready for its first big box home center? So Bernie grabbed a couple of guys that he worked with, the former employer, and a guy who could find money. And Bernie Marcus in 1979 opened up the world's first big box home center, affectionately calling it the Home Depot, put orange aprons on the team members. And in 1999, I got to put on the orange apron myself. But Bernie had a dream, and he pursued it. He said to himself, it's a bit of a risk. Nobody's tried it yet, but he thought the time was right, because a friend of his by the name of Saul Price founded the Price Club, America's first big box retail store. So Bernie didn't just throw money at nothing. He took a calculated risk, but it was a risk. And look at what Bernie has done. Bernie's invention. When I left, there was 350,000 employees, 350,000 people excited about working for the Home Depot. The empowerment culture at the Home Depot was a big part of it. But Bernie took a chance, and look at how many lives he has impacted since he founded the Home Depot in 1979. So I take that as a page of being positive. Look what could be. You just never know. It happened to Bernie. Could happen to you.
That's awesome. And you know what? The book is, by the way, you're not taking a chance by reading this book, Career Trust, 52 Doses of Reality to help you find career fulfillment. His name's Rich Salon. We're just getting started. You're listening to him here on A New Direction. Hey, folks, Epic Physical Therapy, whether you're recovering from an injury, surgery, suffering everyday aches and pains, having difficulty performing activities of daily living, maybe you're a professional athlete and you just want to move better than you are. Listen, when you're ready for your epic relief, epic recovery, epic results, don't look any further. Go to epicpt.com. That's EPICPT.com, and Linda Craft Team Realtors for more than 39 years helping people transition in life. And you go, whoa, that's real estate. That's not life. No, think about it. Every place you've ever lived has been a transition in life, and they can take the stress out of that portion of your transition. So whether you're selling your home or buying your next home, go with the transition experts. Go with Linda Craft Team Realtors. Just go to lindacraft.com, LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction with Rich Salon, Career Trust, 52 Doses of Reality to help you find career fulfillment. And we just got started here a little bit. And Rich, I'm just going to keep going down the list here because there's things I want to hit that I feel like people want to hit, and then it's number 4 for me, which is the barefoot business model. I couldn't resist it, and so help people understand what the barefoot business model is, and maybe if it's right or maybe not so right for them.
Sure, absolutely. So throughout the course of the book, I inspire people to trust their career choices, but also to consider career options. Some people only want to focus on being employed by somebody, a job. Other people want to pursue consulting. Other people want to pursue business ownership. So the barefoot business model helps people understand that the magnitude of people that are successful in home-based businesses. Being a business owner of a home-based business, working in your home, you're not letting your customers come into your home, but in your home office, you want to be barefoot. That's great. You know, it's your dress code. You're working from home. You've got a computer, a telephone in front of you, probably a pad of paper, and probably a keypad, and you are in business. So the only challenges of a barefoot business model person might occasionally trip over the dog on the way for that second or third cup of coffee. And those of us who have young children have been known to step on a Lego building block, and I won't duplicate that scream on this show, but that's a good problem to have. So too many people are set on getting up, into the shower, out the door, into their car, driving into a place of work. But that's not, when it comes to work, employment, career, vocation, that is not exclusive. A lot of people work from home, and a lot of people do it working for themselves. It's a great career option.
Yeah. So, and I'm not sure how to go with this because we talk about business owners like as well, but I have my own coaching business, right? I have my own speaking business, and of course I do the show and I write books and things like that. So I am my own person, and coincidentally, I am barefoot right now doing the show. To be honest with you, I'm not going to show you my feet, but I am absolutely barefoot. I love the freedom that this gives me. And I love building my own business. This is something I enjoy. I just love the challenge of it. It's not always easy. Um, and I do have an office, and so I may be stepping into another one of the doses of reality here. But can we combine those two where, like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm also barefoot? Can we kind of combine those two?
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, if you can uh, visit somebody at Panera, meet them at Starbucks, go to their office, meet them in a public place, meet them at a social event, meet them at a service event. There's just umpteen number of venues, but the ability to work from home, from your own home office, does open up a lot of career potential for people. And a lot of people that do that seem to like the work life balance. If they're a gardening enthusiast or like working on the yard and would rather jump on the tractor at 5:15 instead of commuting home and jumping on the lawn tractor at 6:15. It can provide a different lifestyle. Yeah, you might miss I call them the water cooler talks, which I found productive.
Mhm.
But you can have those water cooler talks, now via virtual or the phone. You don't have to be completely separated from people. So it's another alternative to reporting to a physical place outside your home.
Yeah, I and I think sometimes people, and trust me, it's fearful to start something on your own. I get that, uh, but man, it's worth it. To me, it's worth it. Taking that risk is just worth it. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I love what I do, and I'm grateful to get to do it every day. This leads me to number 5, which is the gig economy. And that's changed because you give us statistics here that says by 2027, more than half the US workforce are predicted to perform gig work. Talk about, gig economy of, because never in our world would we ever go, yeah, I got 2 jobs. I got 2 gigs.
Yeah,
Talk
go
about that.
go back 20 years ago. It's like, are you part time and going to school, or are you a full time person, or are you retired? Um, and for many, many years, that was just kind of the norm. Um, Employers are thinking differently now. Employers are thinking, we're going to we're going to lower our headcount. We don't have to have 1,000 people on the payroll. Maybe we can have 600 on the payroll and hire the remainders, the rest of the work that needs to get done. Just hire them in spots in, 30-day employment here, 60-day employment there, and they can save on the headcount. They save on their health benefit costs that they pay for their employees as well. And what's in it for them is it's lowering their operational costs and allowing the employers to spend more time on research and development, plus profits, improving the stock price. So there's a tremendous amount of benefits for an employers to hire kind of part-time workers or workers only when they need them. Again, 30, 60, 90-day stints could be just for projects. It could be, hey, we want you back every February and every March, until further notice. I hope you can make it happen. Now, for the employees who some employees don't like this, no question. They want that steady every day. They're going to be there 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. But for many workers, they thrive on it because they enjoy the variety of it. They could be one thing, for 2 months and something else for the next month and back to the project, for a couple months. They can do a variety of work. They're not sure what they're going to be doing in 6 months from now. And a lot of people find that excitement. So a lot of people do it by choice, but a lot of people also are doing it not by choice. While they'd rather be a full-time employee someplace, one place, what they do for a living is no longer needed to be a full-time position on the payroll. So it kind of works out both ways. it's really, the motive is really coming from the employers. It's not really the employee saying, I want to work, 4 part-time jobs in the next 9 months. No, it's the employer. It's just the companies that are sponsoring it. And it's about saving money, just what companies need to do.
Mm. I totally get it. And it's really interesting because I know people who do the gig economy and they love it. They just love that variety of jumping from one thing to another. I tell people it's like being in a hamster in a cage.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the wheel, there's the mirror. Oh, is that something to play with? What is that, a ball? Oh, those wood chips. Oh, is that food? Great. Oh, that's a wheel, right? And they just love that, that little thing of moving around like that. Number 7. This is an interesting one. Never underestimate your expertise. And you say something here that people may take the wrong way, and I don't want them to. You say, I appreciate the level of humility from people who tend to undervalue themselves. However, this behavior can limit your progress. We're not talking about arrogance here. We're talking about humility and doing it right. Help people because I see this regularly too. They underestimate their value and their expertise.
Yeah, I've seen it so many times in my career in human resources. Um, Tell me about yourself. Tell me about what you've done. Tell me about what goals. And some people are just hesitant to talk about themselves. They'll say, Rich, it's my, this is my least favorite subject, talking about myself. The downside of that is you take 2 people, they're contributing at the same level. Um, One is very comfortable and eager to talk about themselves and their accolades and what they're doing and how they're moving the needle. And then the person next to them, again, equal contributor, um, they keep to themselves. They're very humble. It's just their nature. Unfortunately, when the time comes for someone to jump ahead, move to the next level, a promotion, honestly, it's typically that person who comfortably and often talks about their accomplishments. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the difference. That's the difference between employee A and employee B. Employee A talks about their accomplishments, and they get the jump, they get the leg up, they get the promotion. So I like to inspire people. Look, it's not bragging. Look, it ain't bragging if it's true. Talk about yourself. Talk about how you've help up others. It gives you a chance to move into a higher position, to make your family better, to help more people, help the organization. There's so many wins if you just come out of your shell a little bit and talk about the great work that you've done. You deserve it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I'll tell you I call it number 27. I think backs this up with personal brand building.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really believe that you need to be able to build your brand of who you are.
Personal branding at work is so important. How are you unique? How are you different? So yeah. I'm typically wearing an orange shirt, and by the way, orange is my favorite color. Orange is part of my brand. People are accustomed to seeing me wearing an orange shirt. It's ain't wearing one today. Wore my orange vest earlier, but it got warm, so I took it off. But and my positive, today's a great day. I'm just, maybe I drive somebody crazy because sometimes it is not a great day for some people, but those are part of my personal brands. How do you stand out? Do you just blend in? Are you like a fly on the wall? Do you blend or do you stand out? And why do you stand out? Do you stand out for the right reason? I had a boss who her personal brand, part of her personal brand was a purple pen. She only used purple ink. When we saw something in the purple ink, she was the only person in the corporation that used a pen with purple ink. We knew it was coming from her, part of her brand.
Yeah.
So it's important. It's important. You need to differentiate yourself. Again, if you can get ahead, if you can take on more responsibility, you're making more of an impact on others, on mankind, on the corporation, on the bottom line, on people's careers. You're capable of doing more. And I do believe that. I do believe everybody is capable of doing more. And little things like personal branding and talking about themselves, just a couple of ways we get that. We get to the next level.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, listen, you can still maintain your humility and be able to promote yourself in the right way. And you can build your brand in the right way, without being conceited or looking that way. Um, and so I encourage you, if Rich does too. Listen, don't be afraid to talk about what you're good at, because if you're good, you're good. But not everybody's going to notice. I know you'd like to think that your work stands for itself. It doesn't. And you're going to have to, sometimes you got to blow your own horn occasionally. Which takes me to number 13, positivity in the workplace. And so I love this story, by the way, because I've been accused of this myself, of being, positive. Is there a risk to being a super positive person at work, Rich? Question mark.
Yep, there is. There will be times when you might offend somebody about being incredibly positive. So my thing was, okay, everybody, today's a new day. Let's make it count. And just shouting, today's a great day, and people 50 yards away can hear it. It became part of me many years ago. And there actually was a time when a senior leader, a couple levels above me, huddled with me and said, you gotta tone this down, Rich. This today's a great day thing. You gotta tone it down, because it's not a great day for everybody. It's like, okay, I got over that shock, and I listened to her for about 4 hours, and for the balance of the day, and came back the next morning, and today's a great day, people. Let's make this one count. So, and the person did not come back to me. But again, you can't worry too much about offending one or two people. If I can get a lot of people charged up, if I can get 50 people charged up and might offend one, I'll take those odds any day.
Yeah. No,
Personally.
yeah, absolutely. And I will also add to that too, is that, you know what, there's two things that can happen. Negativity can breed very quickly in an organization. Positivity can as well. And if we choose that route of positivity, it changes things around us. So I will add that to that script, because if we can make the place more positive, by all means, let's do it. I have a number 20 here called "Do not become desperate." Keep your confidence high in the face of challenges. Talk about desperation, career searches, and being in our career, and don't be that way.
Yeah, I've worked with many people who've been out of work for 6 months, many from over 12 months, and it's an awful feeling, and it's just not just the absence of a paycheck and where you're finding the money to pay for your basic needs, but you're not making an organization stronger because you're not reporting to work. It is difficult. It is challenging. It's a gut punch. And whether you were asked to leave an organization or your organization went out of business, it doesn't matter. You're not making an organization stronger today. And it's a terrible feeling. And as time goes on, the 6 months, 9 months, potentially 12 months or longer, you might feel desperate to dive into just anything. My suggestion is keep researching companies, keep researching industries, keep displaying your passions, talk about your talents, making connections, building relationships. It may not come to you on your timeline, a good, fulfilling career opportunity, but it's going to come. You're going to find something. Just don't dive into something that, pays 25% of what you were making, and it takes you off the job market if you can afford afford to stay on the job market full time. But don't feel desperate. You have passions, you have talents. Okay, each of us has. Continue to pursue that. Somebody will let us in. So that's my hope for people.
That's awesome. I really do appreciate you saying that. The book is entitled Career Trust: 52 Doses of Reality to Help You Find Career Fulfillment by Rich Salon. Available bookstores everywhere. Certainly Amazon as well. You can hear, you're hearing just a few of the ones that we're covering here. They're amazing. You're listening to them here on A New Direction. Hey, folks, Epic Physical Therapy, their facilities offer the most advanced top-of-the-line equipment, including the Ultra-G anti-gravity treadmill, the Normatec compression sleeves, and my favorite, the Game Ready. That's just a few. They're trained and certified in the most comprehensive cutting-edge treatments available, like blood flow restriction therapy, dry needling, cupping, and that's just a few. So when you're ready for epic relief, epic recovery, epic results, don't look any further. Go to epicpt.com. That's EPICPT.com. And Linda Craft Team Realtors, for more than 39 years, they're known as legends of customer service, but right now they're hiring. So if you're in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Research Triangle Park area, or moving into it, and you want to hang your license with someone new, go to Linda Craft Team Realtors. That's lindacraft.com. And you'll find a section says join the team. And you know what? You're going to learn a lot about them, and you're going to be happy because you're going to find a place that's a home for you to not just hang your license, but that you're going to grow and learn and become a better real estate professional. Check them out, lindacraft.com, LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction with my friend Rich Salon and his book, Career Trust. 52 Doses of Reality to Help You Find Career Fulfillment. It's interesting. Excuse me. We just talked about not being desperate, and then of course you lead into everybody's favorite song to sing at the stadiums. Don't Stop Believin', not just a catchy song, is the title of number 25, or at least I got it number 25. You say, to those experiencing a sense of failure, everyone's situation is unique, and failure is inevitable at some point over the course of a career. Experiencing career anxiety is normal. Help people that this is not just a catchy song, but actually there's truth into Don't Stop Believing.
I agree. My first rock concert many years ago was Journey, just coincidental. And I followed Journey before Steve Perry was the lead singer, and then certainly after. Again, career search can be a huge gut punch. Believe there's something out there for you that will match your passions, your talents, and also what's important to you. Find that intersection. Same with people in their career. They may feel like they've been passed up for promotion. They don't think there's a future with their employer. But I would tell you, in my career, I've seen so many people who were pleasantly surprised. They stuck at it and they made something out of it. Some got promoted to a different level. Other people took a lateral move. Only take the lateral, learn some things, demonstrate some new skills and accolades, and then move up that way. But don't believe for a minute that you're stuck in the work that you're currently doing. It's not reality. Each of us has opportunities. Jay, I would tell you, I've been incredibly lucky at so many times in my career, whether I asked to do something, volunteer to do something, and my employer saying, okay, yeah, Rich, go for it. Or they've come to me and asked me to do some heavy lifting, and I made something out of it. When Circuit City went out, as an example, I was part of the corporate HR team, and they asked me to stay on and close down the DCs. Okay. Close on the service centers. Happy to. A couple of days later, they came back and said, Rich, we want you to kickstart the job search for the 34,000 team members nationwide. This is early 2009, where we were in a terrible recession. There was such a lack of jobs. So I had a chance to tell every employer, every company in America, that your responsibility does not end the day you announce liquidation. Because that time the gold standard was you stood up in employees, say, we're sorry we're going out of business, start looking for a new job, and we'll try not to screw up your W-2 form when you get it in the mail from us next year. That's all anybody did. I did some innovative things. I didn't tell every company in America that their responsibility does not end when they announce liquidation. I showed them. And what it did for me, while I'm still sad the Circuit City is out of business, still a little bit mind-boggling, but I do remember that fateful day, January 16th, 2009, when the bankruptcy court judge ordered liquidation of Circuit City, been in business 59 and a half years. So what it did for me, though, after that experience, I put my own job search on hold. I took care of the masses, the 34,000. And what it did for me, it created a second career calling. So I was asked to do something, do a sizable project, figure out how to do it. And it landed me a second career calling. I thought I was just destined to be Rich, the HR guy, and corporate human resources. But no, that assignment, that created a second career calling for me, showing that I'm destined to help people with their career search. So I've been fortunate, and I'm no different than anybody else. So each of us has potential. There are times you may have to raise your hand and say, I'd like to try this, a little out of the ordinary, but trust me, we'll grow from it, but keep believing that, your career path, you can get on it. So you may have to ask for some help, but you can get what you want to get, where you want to be. I believe.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think quite often that things find us if we're willing to take action. You know what I mean? I mean,
Absolutely.
You're willing to take action, and then all of a sudden that opens up other doors. It's the way that it's worked for me. When I actually moved in a direction, right, is when things started changing. Nothing changed when I sat still. But if I was willing to take on a challenge, if I was willing to try something else opened up, even if it wasn't the thing I started. So I totally agree with you on that. Number 26, Mike 26. When is it smarter to bet on yourself, Rich? And you give us some things to consider here. You talk about our abilities, self-motivation, the KSAs. You talk about implementing action without input. Talk to us about when is it smarter to bet on yourself?
Sure. Again, each of us has career options. We can pursue employment, we can pursue consulting, we can pursue, business ownership, employment empowerment. Call it what you want. But there comes a point where some people realize that they want flexibility in their schedule, and that could be driven by family needs. They feel they can do more on their own versus being an employer. And I'm not anti-employer. I've been a great employee, and I've loved being an employee. Employment's great, but for some people, their knowledge is high, their skills are high, and they say to themselves, I think it's time I bet on myself instead of betting on a new boss, and taking control of their career, finding something that they're passionate about, something where they can use their business skills or professional skills that they've created. And the results often are they enjoy taking control of their finances, their earnings. They don't have a set salary. They can earn more than they hope to make. The flexibility, the ability to devote more time to family, which I believe is important. So again, when somebody is in a job, they often think about the next job they're going to hold. When they leave a job, voluntarily or otherwise, they begin to immediately think, what will be my next job? So my thing is, take off the blinders, leave them off, look at all career options, look at consulting, Look at what consulting could do for you with your talents and your knowledge. Is there another organization that could use your talents? And business ownership. Do I have the discipline? Can I go out there and make things happen? Am I capable of leading people that work directly for me on my payroll? Those are questions asked. But again, it starts with taking off the blinders and leaving them off.
Well said. Because you betting on yourself, opting for business ownership, which is number 50, awesome options that may be for you, for sure. I want to go to number 47, which is called divorcing your job. Make time to reflect first, because sometimes people go, that's it, I'm done, without any reflection. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So some people, they get frustrated. And frustrate, and it happens to all of us. I haven't not met a single person who's never been frustrated in their career. Before they decide to throw in the towel and look for a new job, take a step back and reflect. Are you following your passions? Are you finding passion in your work? Is there something you're not doing? Is there something you used to do? If you're not following your passions, if you're not finding the work fascinating, ask why. If you're not, are using your talents, ask yourself this, but also take it upon yourself. Maybe this is a good time to, ask a couple people to be your personal board of directors. Is a term I use. Ask them, I feel burned out. I feel unfulfilled. And I think it's showing in my success level. And so that's another motive to get out. I don't want to be thrown out because I'm not productive. Again, take a step back and ask the whys. Ask yourself the questions and reflect. Why am I not successful? I mean, career fulfillment, you can never compromise it. When somebody's not fulfilled, it's often because of it will also reflect on a lack of success. Okay. Why is the person frustrated? They're probably frustrated because they're not successful. Why are they not successful? It's possible that they're in a role they're currently not fulfilled. So ask the question why. I should say questions. So don't throw in the towel. Don't just scribe out your resignation and try and find something else. Really reflect before you leave your current job.
We've done an hour together already, Rich. It went really, really fast. I've really, really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the book, Career Trust, 52 Doses of Reality to help you find career fulfillment. Tell folks how they can get a hold of you, Rich, if they want to get more information.
Oh, I'm active on LinkedIn, Rich Salon. You can Google Rich the HR guy and you'll find me. You can also drop me a note at rich@richthehrguy.com. So, and please connect with me. I've never turned down a request for help. I will always find time to help anybody who asks. And up until now, I've never accepted a nickel for all the people I help. Just the way I roll. Talent has options. I hate to see talent not being utilized. I do believe in paying it forward. And my career purpose is helping people find career fulfillment. That's it. Okay, and it's kind of runs in parallel with my life's purpose. My life's purpose is to help people and make the world better. Today, I do it through Rotary International, my work there. And when I retire, I will be a wish granter for adults diagnosed with a terminal illness. So that's me. That's why I'm wired. I'm here to help.
Awesome. Rich, thank you. Stay with me. Folks, it's the show I sell to you every week. And that is, you're in control of three things at all times: your attitude, your effort, and your resiliency. I know life can be challenging at times, and sometimes circumstances can be overwhelming, but you're still in control of your attitude. That's within your control. And your effort is tied to your excellence. So how excellent will you be today? And then your resiliency, we all get punched in the mouth or punched in the gut. It's up to you to get back up again. Get back up. Take control of those three things. I know you will. I'm going to be back next week with another great guest and another great book, which makes it another great show. As I say to you all over, and that is this: you had a lot of choices. You chose us. Thank you so much. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and wherever you listen to the show, you know what? Give us a positive review. We really greatly appreciate it. As I say to you all over the world, you know what that is?